Welcome to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.
Hello, it's Lorraine Garvey of District 32, and I'm delighted to be back again with Paul Roach of Delta Business Services. How are you, Paul?
Going very well, thanks, Lorraine. Yourself?
Yes, really great. And this is part 3 of the cash flow series. We've already been through some great tips around, mental well-being and your cash flow and the correlation. We've spoken about the cycles, the economy, and how we prioritize spending. And now we're back for part 3, which is around planning and volatility. Where does that come in for our cash flow? Where do we start, Paul? What do we need to be thinking about?
The really interesting part of this, Lorraine, for me, is that so many people are so busy, or they're not so busy, and they're forgetting to plan. So it's about it sort of comes back to the hour a day you spend looking after yourself and the half hour a day you having checked to make sure you're following your plan closely correlate.
Right, okay.
So in the current environment, we've got a pretty volatile economy, probably more volatile than what people have ever had in their life. Businesses are disrupted for a whole stack of reasons. Supply chains are disrupted. The consumer expectations are quite different. The ability to service our customers can be questionable because we can't grow like we used to be able to do. We can't get team members as easily as what we could in the past. So taking time to plan it just helps us. It's a bit like sailing the yacht. I mean, the yacht doesn't really ever go on a straight line. It's always tacking from side to side. We've got to adjust the sails, constant process to make sure we're on track. But we have that guiding force that makes sure we're going to where we want to go. And we can be so busy that we forget about that. We forget about what we really want and where we're really traveling. And when we are so busy, we can be going in the wrong direction, end up in the wrong spot. And when we've got the volatility that we've got at the moment, we can be reactive. We need to act
Absolutely.
in the market we're in, and reacting is not a good place to be. It's reacting, you end up the tail wagging the dog, not the dog wagging the tail. And if you're in that situation, you can be heading for a massive problem.
Well, I think a few things you mentioned before was around, well, first of all, we can be busy fools anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what environment we're there. But if you take that busy fool, or you might be in the drought, or you might be in the burnout, whichever end of the scale you're at, and dealing with a volatile market, our decision making, if we weren't human, our decision making is going to be questionable anyway.
Yes.
So planning, how many do you, I know you're a business advisor, and a massive part of your role within a business is to help people create that plan and then to navigate that plan.
Yep.
But in your experience over the years, Paul, how many business owners, obviously before they've come to you, are actually working from a plan that they might check monthly or quarterly, far less daily? Is it how many people are actually doing that, Paul?
That have a written plan that they actually follow?
Yeah.
What's your guess, Lorraine? Would it be less than 50%? Less than 40%?
Yeah.
I'll tell you my number when you've had a couple of guesses.
I'm going to be really pessimistic though, and go right down there and say 5%.
I think you're an optimist.
Oh, really? Yay!
From my experience, there's about 1%.
Wow, right.
1% of businesses have an active business plan that they follow.
Wow. And what is the impact of that then, of not having a plan, particularly in these times? I mean, people might say, well, what's the point of having a plan, in these times? Because you don't know what's going to happen in 2 months or 3 months. What would you say then, Paul?
Well, if you haven't got a plan and don't know where you're going, then you're already there. That's the reality. So if you haven't got a focus on moving forward, then you're just going to stay where you are.
Okay.
Now, it might come in a slightly different format, but you're going to stay where you are. And that's okay. If you plan to stay where you are, great. At least you've got a plan to stay there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But if you, but it's always the catch cry, isn't it? I want to grow. I want to make more money. Well, how are you going to do it? And the connection and joining the dots in people's heads just doesn't get there. So they end up working harder and harder and harder, thinking that's going to get them to their plan or get them to where they want to go, sorry, without a plan. So they hit this cycle of really, really hard, and then they give up, or they go under.
Yeah, I can resonate with that. What you said earlier, Paul, you were recommending half an hour a day for a business owner or a CEO to be sitting there looking at that plan just to make sure that they're on target every single day. Is that what you would recommend?
Well, the plan, generally a business plan is going to be looking out 5 years. Some people go further, but 5 years. 5 years breaks down to 5 individual years. Year one breaks down into 4 quarters. First quarter breaks down into 90 days. Now, if you're not looking at your plan and setting your target for the week, so you're going to hit your quarterly goal or your monthly goal or your weekly goal to take you to your monthly to your quarterly, how do you know you're on track?
Yep.
You know, are you actually going, well, hey, this is my goal for the quarter. So to hit the quarterly goal, I need to hit this for the month. To hit this for the month, I need to hit this for the week. To hit this for the week, I need to do it for the day.
Yeah, okay.
These are the top 3 activities I need to do today to take me forward. The only reason why I have a to-do list is to tear it up and put it in the bin, because I only want to do the top 3 things that help me move forward. I don't want to do the other 50 things that don't matter.
And I love that, Paul. A wise man once said to me before, he was talking to me over coffee, as we do, you're talking about the problems in business. And I was saying, like many other business owners out there, I just don't have time. And he said to me, Lorraine, you don't have a time problem. You have a focus problem.
Exactly.
And I was like, oh, but I've never, it was the last thing and the best thing I needed to hear at that time. But I've never forgotten it. And now you're just reinforcing that about if you get to the end of the month and you've missed your targets, it's too late.
Way too late.
It's got to be looked at daily and weekly. And it's not revisiting the plan or rewriting the plan, but make sure you're working and acting in accordance with the outputs that you're looking for from the plan.
I sort of hear it, Lorraine, from a lot of business owners. They're like for me, driving business on financials is a key part of what I do, because I like to make sure that the financial goals are locked in. Then how much energy do we need to put in to achieve it? So that sort of balances it out. When I left uni, quite a long while ago, as you could imagine now, but I worked for News
10
Corp.
minutes.
And News Corp, back at the time, Rupert Murdoch was under a lot of financial pressure. He couldn't get refinancing. Banks weren't going to fund him and all the rest of it. They only agreed to fund him on the basis that he bought in weekly reporting across his organizations.
Wow.
So globally, every business unit reports weekly.
Wow.
And the 4 weeks or the 5 weeks add up to the month. And if you've got a variance between the weeks and the months, it's a please explain. And if your weekly report's late, it's not a, oh, could you do better next time? It's a letter from the News Corp board to your business unit director saying if it's late again, you don't have a job. That's the severity and the importance that News Corp puts on financial reporting.
And that is another aspect that comes through here. I mean, and I love these reminders around the focus, around the planning, around, knowing where you're going, but where is that accountability then?
That's right.
To achieving that.
That's what keep coaches in a job, you see. It's about holding people accountable to make sure they happen. Because a lot of business owners hang out for their financials, but they get them halfway through the following month. And then there's no recognition on their part that, well, I should know my financials anyway. By the time I get my monthly report, I should know what it is. If I don't know my sales every day, that's a problem. Checking sales every day, that's making sure I'm on track to my budget. Simple thing, then I dig a bit deeper. Hey, have my key customers placed orders this month? Or have I lost one of them? Do I need to go and make sure they're all okay? Do I need to touch base with them? Little things that just tighten the correlation between the daily activity and the 5-year plan.
Paul, thank you very much. I have absolutely loved your tips that we've gone through today on the cash flow series. Some of them in your face reminders, some of them
Well,
more
I hope it's messed with
reminders.
your head.
But really important stuff. We got to be paying attention. We got to be taking that time out. It's like, well, and especially in these times when we're being pulled in all different directions, we've got uncertainty, we've got volatility, we're in uncharted waters. This more now than ever, do we have to be focused and planning and being prepared and looking after ourselves and each other?
Absolutely.
Paul, how can people get in touch with you?
deltaservices.com.au or give me a call. Happy to chat with anyone over a coffee. See if we can help.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
You've been listening to District 32, Immersion, Inspiration for Ambitious Business Owners with Big Dreams.